gonna be doing some light meal prep. And what I mean by light meal prep is basically just batch cooking. All the components that I'm making today, I'm gonna be able to kind of interchange and swap to make different bowls for all of my meals for the next couple days, which is pretty sweet. Speaking of sweet, I am also going to be whipping up a fun chocolatey snack that's really good for you. So stay tuned for that later on in the video. With all that being said, let's get right into making some breakfast. So for breakfast, we're going to be making totally vegan bacon and egg veggie bowls. A really nice, hearty, savory breakfast. First up, we're going to be making some TVP bacon. Now, if you've watched any of my recent videos where I made some casseroles, like my cheeseburger casserole, we use TVP to make some TVP bacon bits, and that's what we're going to be doing again. So I'll have the recipe below for you that you can check out. What we're going to do is we're going to hydrate our TVP in some water first and let it just soak in the hot water for about 10 minutes. And while we're doing that, we're gonna prep our veggies. So when it comes to making savory breakfast bowls, I personally love to air fry my veggies, and that changes up like pretty often. It really just depends on what I happen to have. This week I have some broccoli that needs to get used up, a bell pepper, and I have some mushrooms. So that's what's going in my breakfast bowl today. So we're just going to chop those up into bite-sized pieces and arrange them on an air fryer basket. Actually, I lied. Before I put the veggies in the air fryer basket, I like to season them first. So I just toss them in a bowl, large bowl, with pretty much whatever seasonings you like. Personally, my favorite way to do it is with some soy sauce and garlic and onion powder, some smoked paprika, and a little bit of nutritional yeast. But you do you, boo. So the veggies are gorgeous. They are ready to go in the air fryer. I'm just gonna go get that preheating in a second. While the air fryer preheats, I'm gonna take care of seasoning my TVP for the TVP bacon bits. About a 1/4 cup of soy sauce, a tablespoon of liquid smoke. Whew, smells like fire. A tablespoon of maple syrup, a couple tablespoons of tomato paste, and some garlic powder. And now what do? We give it all a good mixy. It may not look like much in this moment, but we're gonna take this over to the stove now and kind of crisp it up a little bit. We are going to warm up a large saute pan with about 1 tablespoon of olive oil. And then once it's nice and hot, we're just going to add in our seasoned TVP bacon bits. So we're just gonna kind of stir this every so often. While this is doing its thing, we're just gonna jump right on over to this burner with a brand new skillet, and we're gonna work on our tofu scramble. Now this is something you've probably seen me make many times on this channel, and it's very easy, and I'll have all the ingredients for you below. We're gonna crumble up 2 blocks of extra firm tofu. I'm making a double batch, which is why I'm using 2 blocks, because I want this to last me a few days for breakfast. So I've got this on high heat right now because there's a lot of moisture in the tofu. So we're just gonna let this totally steam out, sweat out all the moisture in the tofu here. And while we do that, we're gonna make our eggy sauce for our tofu scramble. So the first ingredient is 4 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. This adds so much savory, definitely a little bit of cheesy-ish flavor, but it doesn't taste like cheese in the tofu scramble. It just adds like flavor and umami. Teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of smoked paprika, a teaspoon of kala namak, which is black salt, which kind of has this eggy, sulfur-like smell and flavor, which kind of makes things taste eggy. And then we're gonna add about half a teaspoon of turmeric for a nice yellow, eggy color. And then for some more umami, we're gonna add in 1 tablespoon of light miso paste. Boink. And then for some kind of creamy mouthfeel, we're gonna add a tablespoon or so of tahini. Lastly, we're gonna add in some plant milk. I'm just using unsweetened soy milk. I need to open up a new one, clearly. We need about 2 cups or so. Now we're just going to give everything a good little whiskey. And we're just going to pour in this beautiful tofu eggy sauce. Golden and gorgeous. Nice and bubbly. So we're just gonna let this thicken up, because it will, within about 3 to 4 minutes. And then the tofu will absorb a lot of this flavor as well. So let's go check on our tofu, or actually this isn't tofu, this is TVP bacon. It's definitely drying up a little bit too. It's getting nice and golden, nice and browned. And boom, just like that, in under 30 minutes, I got all of this great breakfast meal prep stuff cooked up. It was so easy. Literally in the time it took all these veggies to air fry, I got everything else done too. And then you just build your own bowl. I put everything on top of a bed of spinach because, you know, greens and health. And then sometimes what I like to do is I drizzle a little bit of sriracha ketchup on top, which I just whipped up in a little bowl. Literally, it's just sriracha and ketchup. And then you just top it all up and you eat it all up and it's so good. Veggies and tofu and vegan bacon, oh my. Happy dance, breakfast happy dance. Now what's great about this that I already mentioned is that all these components are gonna last me for at least a couple more breakfasts for Brad and I, which is great. I don't have to cook breakfast tomorrow, and neither do you. For real though, I will see y'all back here at lunchtime. We're gonna make another component-based meal that you can also eat for dinner with some of this stuff. Mind-blowing. Well, hello and welcome to lunch. Yes, we are doing it meal prep style again, and today we're gonna be doing something called a Niçoise salad. If you've never heard of a Niçoise salad, it comes from the region of France called Nice. Niçoise, get it? So, Niçoise salad, if you've not heard of it before, it's kind of like a big shareable style, platter style salad. So I'm gonna kind of veganize my own loose interpretation of a Niçoise salad because it's great for meal prep. So many amazing components that you can store separately and just build some bowls throughout the week. And I've actually been making this honestly for like 3 or 4 years, and I just love it so much. And it feels very springy. And it is almost spring. My first order of business is to prep the veggies. So I've already done a little bit of the legwork. Like I said, I have a ton of asparagus that needed to get used up. Don't ask why I have so much asparagus. I just do, okay? That's not even all of it. I have a little bit on this sheet pan too. But we're going to roast up our potatoes and our asparagus together on the same sheet pans. I have about 2 pounds of little mini potatoes. We're just going to half them, transfer them to the baking sheet. Get your oven preheating to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Glorious. Now, all we gotta do is just really simply season our asparagus and potatoes with a little bit of olive oil, salt, and pepper. Just a little drizzle, some kosher salt, and a few grinds of freshly cracked black pepper. Roll up those sleeves and give everything a quick little tossy. Then we're just gonna pop both of these trays in the oven. We're going to bake the potatoes for about 35 to 40 minutes and the asparagus for about 20 minutes. Once it's been 20 minutes, we can remove the asparagus from the sheet pans. Then we'll add our next ingredient to roast up, which are some canned chickpeas, and I'll show you that in just a sec. So next we're just going to drain and rinse a couple cans of chickpeas, and then we're just going to spread them out on a kitchen towel because we don't want to roast our chickpeas while they're still damp or have any moisture on them, because then they'll just steam and they won't get nice and crispy. Then we're just going to grab a secondary kitchen towel, just pat them dry. Then just take your chickpeas, transfer them to a bowl. And then again, we're just gonna add a little drizzle of olive oil, a little pinch of kosher salt, and some black pepper. And now just give it a little tossy. Whoa, that was dangerous. I do my own stunts. Let's just set the chickpeas aside for a couple minutes while we're waiting for the asparagus to be done so we can swap these. And in the meantime, we're gonna make a nice little salad dressing that you can keep for a couple days in the fridge to go over this Niçoise salad and other things if you wish. Super simple. We're gonna add about 1/4 cup of olive oil, about 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar, about a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. We're gonna add a teaspoon of herbe de Provence. Herbe de Provence? I'm not very good at French. Some black pepper. pinch of kosher salt. We're going to finely mince up some garlic with a microplane, 1 clove. And we're going to finely mince up 1 green onion. Green and white parts included. Add that right into the jar. Put a lid on. And give it a little shake to emulsify. Ta-da! Okay, asparagus and potatoes are 20 minutes in. These are all good. They're bright green, cooked to perfection. Now we can just swap them for the chickpeas. And let's pop these bad girls back in the oven to finish cooking. The potatoes for probably another 20 to 25 minutes, and the chickpeas for probably 25 to 35 minutes. When you're ready to eat, get some tomatoes going. You can slice up, or not, some olives. These are very common in Niçoise salads. Same with capers. These add just yummy, creamy, healthy fats, and also some kind of briny tanginess from the olives and the capers. That's always yum. I'm so excited to eat. Asparagus. It is time. Oh, my sweet summer child. Look at our lunch bowls. Underneath all this goodness, there's some spinach. Got that roasted asparagus, some roasted potatoes, some fresh Roma tomatoes, some sliced mini cukes, a few olives, some capers. Now all we need is some of that dressing. Come at me, bro. Y'all, I meal prepped this, and you can too. Oh my gosh. That dressing is like life-giving. Y'all, I just assembled this big, beautiful bowl, and I was ready to just dive in. But then I remembered, I'm missing something. I completely forgot to add my gosh darn crispy roasted chickpeas. That is like a sin. You can't forget them. They're like little crunchy croutons, but they're chickpeas. Asparagus. Got some cucumbers in there. Hey, cameraman just stole my tomato. That was uncalled for. That was my tomato. It's a nice light lunch, and the great thing about this is I could eat this again for dinner. I won't be sick of it by dinner time, but I could also switch out some other things that I made this morning. I could add some of those roasted veggies. I could even add a little bit of tofu scramble in here. That's just the great thing about these component meal bowls. They're just so versatile. And we're back to make a snack. Yes, we are, and I always tell myself that I'm going to meal prep snacks for the week. And then do I? No, I never do. And I don't know why, but I really ought to. And today is the day that I finally do it. And I'm gonna show you what kind of healthy, chocolatey, sweet treat we're making today. Did I say healthy? Because it's healthy. We are making cacao bliss balls. And what I'm very excited for in this recipe is that we're using Cacao Bliss from Earth Echo. They are the sponsor of today's video, so thank you, Earth Echo. If you have not seen me talk about Cacao Bliss before, well, let me introduce you to this amazing stuff. It is pretty much a superfood jacked cacao powder. It's made with raw cacao straight from the cacao bean. It's loaded with other antioxidants like turmeric and black pepper, which we all know help to fight inflammation. It's got MCT oil powder to give you energy and boost your brain cognition. It's got lucuma and cinnamon and pink Himalayan salt. It's basically the best tasting, best feel good cacao powder that you can get. It's amazing, and we're gonna make these hazelnut cacao bliss balls with Cacao Bliss. So first step is that we need to roast up some hazelnuts. I've just got half a cup of raw hazelnuts here, so we're just going to add them to a small baking tray. Get your oven preheating to 350 degrees, and once your oven's preheated, we're just going to lightly roast these for about 8 minutes, just until you can start to smell them and they start to get a little bit more golden brown. We don't want to burn them, we just want them to be a little bit crunchy, a little bit extra roasted, because trust me, roasted nuts taste way better than when they're raw. Now we've got some lovely plump dates here as well that we are going to use as the sweet base for our bliss balls. Very common ingredient when using bliss balls. They're great because they're sweet, naturally sweet. They are full of minerals and fiber, and they are just so gosh darn healthy for you. So if you don't have medjool dates like me, these are like Sigai dates, they're a little bit harder and firmer. You just need to soak these in hot water for about 5 minutes just to rehydrate them, make them a little bit softer. So next step, we're gonna need our food processor for this. I have some shredded unsweetened coconut here, which is great, it's fine to use. Obviously I'm using it today, but what would even be better for this recipe is if you had desiccated coconut, which is really fine, it's been processed and some of the fat has been removed from it. Use that if you have it. If you don't, that's fine. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna add this to my food processor. I'm just gonna pulse it a few times just to break it up even smaller into a more of a fine ground texture. It'll just make the overall texture of these bliss balls even nicer. We kind of want like breadcrumb-like texture. You know what I mean? Yes, beautiful, darling. This is what we want. More breadcrumb-like. The hazelnuts are finished roasting. This is like the best smell in the whole world. I could just literally breathe this in for the rest of my life. Let's go ahead and add the oats into the food processor with the coconut. These are gluten-free rolled oats, by the way. And then add in our roasted hazelnuts. Pop a lid on it, and we're just going to pulse up the coconut with the oats and the hazelnuts just until, again, we reach kind of like a bread-like crumb consistency. Breadcrumb-like consistency. I know English. I approve. Now we're just going to drain off the liquid from our soaking dates and reserve 1/3 of the cup of the liquid because we're going to use it to help everything blend up nicely. All right, we add the dates. We smush the dates. And then we're gonna add 1/4 cup of Cacao Bliss, plus 1/3 of a cup of that reserved hot water. Y'all, I almost forgot a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Put a lid on her and we're going to pulse her up, baby. Yes girl, work it. She's giving thick, scoopable, chocolatey, oaty, textural, sticky goodness. She's ready to roll. Literally. Now, of course, if you just wanted to keep this in a bowl in your fridge and eat it by the spoonful every now and then, I'm not gonna say anything. I won't tell on you. You won't get in trouble. That's a perfectly acceptable way to eat this if you're just feeling too lazy to make it into little balls. But if you're not lazy, here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna grab yourself a cookie scoop. I think this one is a 2 tablespoon size cookie scoop. And we're just going to scoop up some of this here dough just until it's a level scoop. Nothing super heaping, just level. We're gonna roll them out to little balls. Boom! They are soft now. That is no surprise because the hot water kind of makes things soft. The warm dates makes things soft, but that's okay. You can either wait to roll them out until they're a little bit cool, like put the bowl in the fridge for maybe half an hour, or you can just roll them out when they're soft. They're still very easy to work with, and then I'll show you what to do after. And 21 balls later, 21 Cacao Bliss balls on the wall, 21 Cacao Bliss balls. Now, as an optional next step, you can choose to roll out your balls in either some coconut flour or some more Cacao Bliss if you want more of like a chocolate dusted finish. I'm gonna do a little bit from column A, a little bit from column B, okay? I'm gonna start with doing the coconut ones first. Gorgeous. And the other half, we're gonna roll out in some Cacao Bliss. They look like little truffles, chocolate truffles. Oh my gosh. Ta-da! So pretty. So yummy. What you're saying is I should test one of each out right now, right? Just to make sure that they're as good as they look. I can do that for you if you really want me to. Then yes, no problem. Ooh. Oh my gosh. Coconut. Yes. No hate on the coconut, but the cacao bliss on the outside, just like that extra chocolatey punch. So yum. I don't know how I did it, but they're freaking bomb.com. This stuff just adds so much healthful nutrition into your day, and it really will make you feel so good. It honestly gives you such a good boost of energy. And when you eat chocolate, you always just naturally feel better. So if you guys want to try out Cacao Bliss for yourself, I do have a promo code for you to save money at checkout on this good stuff. So check out the link in my description box below. And that's it. I'm gonna go refrigerate the rest of these Bliss balls. You can just keep them in a container in your fridge. They should last for like up to a week or more. Not that I think they'll actually last that long, because they're so good, you'll probably eat them all in a few days. And we're here. It's dinner time, y'all. We're back with another bowl. Yep. It's sort of a repeat bowl, like I mentioned. It would be. There are some components from breakfast and lunch. We got some of those roasted potatoes and the chickpeas and some tomatoes from our Niçoise salad at lunchtime. And then stealing from what I made for breakfast, I figured let's take some of that TVP bacon. Oh, of course, and there's asparagus. And you know what? Add some fresh tomatoes, some of that dressing I made. This is a banging dinner. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. I love you. And once again, thanks again to Earth Echo for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget to check out their awesome product below. I have a link and a special code for you. I love you guys, and I'll see you in another video real soon. Mwah!